So I was originally just going to respond to the Unfurling Nest's Kokedama challenge. I figured why not turn it into an episode. Hi everyone, it's Melissa, your plantita abogada here at Tasteful Nodes, coming to you today with a plant staging episode. So originally, like I said in the beginning, I was going to respond to a friend's Kokedama challenge, right? Had all of these ideas, and I've seen all of these inspo posts from this one particular Instagrammer, and I figured why not just turn it into an episode, share the knowledge with everybody else, because my goodness, if you have not seen this Instagrammer, you're completely sleeping on a wonderful decorative plant arrangement person. Before we get started, let me jump into my disclaimers really quick. One, KKB tayo, kanya-kanyang bayad. We each pay our own way. So don't spend your rent money, because I ain't gonna be paying any plant child support. Number two, I'm not an expert. Any information that I provide to you is based on my personal experiences and observations, so don't use me as a source of or a reference, okay? Number three, any factual information I'll provide to you in the description box down below as well as on the screen. However, if you're going to be doing this for personal use, which I hope a lot of you are, find people in your area who've actually done this, and they could guide you as far as where to buy materials, where to buy plants, how to make these things, how to care for them in your area. Because, you know, we don't all have the same growing conditions. Okay, I think that's enough. I'm really excited to get started. So, my friend Jed at the Unfurling Nest posted this beautiful Philippine epiphytic Kokedama. If you're not familiar with what Kokedama is, this is Kokedama, right? So koke refers to moss and dama is a ball, so a moss ball, essentially, right? This moss ball in particular is home to a fern, but they don't all have to be homes to ferns. I've seen moss balls that actually house anthuriums, that actually home pothos. Okay, not pothos, Epipremnum aureum for the sticklers out there. Not the actual species pothos, but the common name. I've actually seen people put philodendrons and aglaonemas in moss balls as well. I haven't tried it, so I won't recommend it, but keep it simple. Keep it simple where you know your plant's needs, because once you get them in a moss ball, the upkeep is a little bit different. Because there is no pot surrounding the roots, you gotta stay on top of keeping this whole thing moist. So you don't want it dripping wet, see? You don't want it dripping wet. It's not gonna happen. But you also don't want it super dry, because once the moss is dry, there's a good chance that the inner layers are also probably dry. I'm not talking about the center, but I'm talking about the immediate layers that are touching the moss. And that's just an invitation for root rot if you keep going that dry and then that wet. So always keep an eye on your Kokedamas. Keep them nice and moist, and they'll be happy little plants. So what I wanted to show you guys and to talk to you guys about today is my challenge response to Jed's Philippine epiphyte Kokedama. So I'm going to make my own Kokedama here in just a second, and I wanted to show you the process. So we're going to need a few materials. We're going to need some fishing wire, some harder, thicker steel wire. I don't know what gauge, I think it's called gauge, right? But it's a thick one, okay? It's not the kind, it's not as thin as like, I'm sorry, but this is the only thing I could relate to. It's not as thin as the posts that you put in your ears. Yeah, it's not this. So this is thicker. You want this because it's going to hold your Kokedama up if you hang it. You're going to need a cutting tool. My handy little knife. You're going to want the plants and other things that you're thinking of decorating with, right? I've got some moss, I've got some driftwood, I've got some other things in mind. We're not going to talk about all of that right now. So we're just talking about things that we need. Anyway, getting back to it. So I figured, why not use my Instagram inspiration as inspiration for this vlog, right? So this person, and let me get their name their Instagram handle, because really this is one of my most favorite Instagram accounts to watch when I'm about ready to head off to sleep. This is Atelier Te. So it's Atelier, ATELIR _ Te on Instagram. And oh my goodness, so I can't remember the first time I've seen one of their posts, but as soon as I saw it, I was smashing that follow button so fast and so hard, and I have no regrets at all. Their creations are amazing. So they call them Tamandama. This is the second kind of plant arrangement that I completely recommend to you guys. So Tamandama is a play on Kokedama, obviously. So the Dama still refers to the ball, the moss ball, right? But the Taman part is actually Indonesian for garden. And if you get what I'm saying, they are actually creating a garden ball. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and post a picture of one of their most popular tamandamas, and man, they're just so stunning. Originally, it was Atelier Te's interpretation of an Indonesian-Japanese hybrid of Kokedama, and they were using epiphytic plants, okay? These creations are just whimsical. They're very thoughtful in terms of placement, and we'll get into that in just a second. And I don't think I could go ahead and replicate his or her level of mastery, but man, I'm gonna try, because I want to keep these and I want to keep making them, I suppose. So first things first, we want moss, right? I know I didn't mention it earlier in the things that we need, but I'll make sure I put it on the list. We want to pre-moisten our moss. We don't want we don't want it to be sopping wet. There we go. So there's our moss, right? Now, I'll get back to that in a second, but most importantly to the moss is your media. And before I get into media right off the bat, I'm going to say you want your media to reflect the plants that you're going to be planting. Don't forget that gravity starts pulling water down. So when you start watering your plant, even if it's in the bowl, even if you let it sit in a bowl for 10 to 15 minutes, yeah, sure, the water's going to go up, right? But as soon as you remove it from that bowl, gravity will pull that water down. So what Tamandana has done, they don't only consider the plant composition per se, but they also consider the plant's needs. I'm just so geeking out over this. I love their creations. It's amazing. And I hope I could do them justice. Anyway, so the plants that we're going to use for my first response to the unfurlingness challenge is I say let's go use the eyelash fern. So the eyelash fern, I keep it in a nice, I guess, moist, it's not soaking wet, again, you can't feel it, nice and moist condition. So that is really, really great. We're going to use that guy. We have an orchid right here that I'm going to go throw in the mix as well. Has the same water usage as this, so very happy about that. We are going to use some strawberry begonia. And I know it's not begonias, okay? It isn't. But this stuff, man, I'll get the name for you and I'll flash a picture of it on the screen, because when they actually, he gets out of the way, because when this actually starts growing, they grow like strawberries with the, gosh, what are they called? With the runners that lead to a new plant. It's just gorgeous. So if you don't have this in your collection and you like the look of the, what is it? The string of hearts or strawberry runners, you're gonna love this one. Strawberry begonia. So it's a common name, right? Strawberry begonia, but it is actually called Saxifraga solonifera. Put that name on the screen. It is a native to Asia, and like I said, it's going to be a looker when we have it in a new setting. And I'm looking around here and I've got multiple plants here that I could use, and I'm so excited about that. Put that away. So we've got 1, 2, 3 plants right here, and perhaps one more. I was originally thinking that orchid over there on the side, but now I'm thinking this Hoya might do well. Because I do need some color, you know. Let's do it. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to actually remove the eyelash fern from its container, because I want to split this up, and that's what should be first on your list, is splitting up the plants that you want to use to make it easier for us to work faster, right? And hi there. I see a few stalks here, and I need to make sure that I'm not breaking it up in a bad way. Now, what I love about working with ferns is that the ferns actually create this, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a media of sorts. In fact, there are a lot of old-timer, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to say you guys are old. I just mean to say that there are old hobbyists. Oh my gosh, I can't win. Okay, so I mean to say that there are established hobbyists, there you go, here in the Philippines, who actually use asplenium root as a media. And asplenium, if you're not familiar, is also another fern. And oh my gosh, I'm making a mess of myself. And what happens with asplenium is that their roots become so dense that it actually can form a media for other things, such as Kokedama and Tamandama. So Tamandama actually uses something very, very similar to what the other hobbyists here use. And I'm trying to find a way to split this guy up, but all I'm getting are the small ones, and I don't want the small ones right now. I actually want one of these big guys right here in the middle. So let me put you guys on pause, and I'll be back as soon as I figure this out, okay? Okay, so I was able to split apart the two plants, the other smaller plant, and I realized that, hey, look, it's media. This is fantastic. So inside the fern, they actually have some wood chunks, right? They also have a lot of fern root. So this is the media that we were looking for as far as creating our Tamandama's. If you watch any of Atelier Te's videos, oftentimes I've noticed that they also mention that the plants that they use, or the reason they use ferns, is quite strategic. It's because they actually hold together well. When I say that it holds together well, I mean that the roots will hold everybody in place. And that's exactly what this plant is showing right now. Now, another thing that Tamandama actually mentions is that I actually really want to use the other fern. Yeah, darn it. Okay. Change mind. Okay, so while we were working with the eyelash fern earlier, I just kept looking at this and thinking, this would look so nice hanging from the bottom, because, you know, like I said, you have to remember positioning of your plants when you're making it. Really, really important. So we're starting with the fern, and I'm going to go ahead and put it on the bottom because I want it to stay nice and moist. The other candidates are the Hoya, which I know they don't like being wet all the time, and the orchid, which doesn't like being wet all the time either, and we've got the strawberry guy right over here. So let's go ahead and work with this, and I'm going to pull one of these out right now so I could actually close this up just a little bit and not have to worry about it scattering all over the place. Okay, that one and another nice big one. You guys crowded in the front? I think a frog just jumped and peed on me. Yeah, story of my life on this farm. Frogs pee on me regularly. I kid you not. So here we go. And there. So I've got 2 that I've wanted. Oh gosh, a third one's coming along. Fine. You can come along and you could serve to be in the middle of all of this. There we go. So yes, I think it's coming along nicely, don't you? Yay! So now that we've got these guys, let's go ahead and put some media around them and moss where we can. So you want to make sure that your moss is not completely drenched, because it would be a nightmare. It really would. And let me find my string to hold everybody in place. What's up? There we go. That's what's up. And a little bit of this is going to be right up there. There we go. I have my basic Kokedama, Tamandama in place. And I want to go ahead and see, the way that Tamandama does it is so much easier. They've got that moss that I was telling you about, and it just makes life so much easier, truly, because it's quite dense and it holds well with pins, which is what they use, right? And I'm looking here and I need a space to come out, and this is just initial. We are not finishing our item. We're not finishing everything just yet, okay? And then, okay, so looking at it, happy, but we aren't done yet. As I said earlier, we're going to be adding an orchid and a Hoya. So we've got an orchid right here. And I'm sorry about the mess. Look at those crazy roots. Yep. I'm not removing all of the media because I do want to keep some of the smaller chunks of coconut. It seems to like coconut a lot. So I'll go ahead and put you right here. Cover you up with a little bit of moss because I know you like being a little bit wetter than that guy. Let's go ahead and do this. So my Hoyas are completely in coconut. And as you'll see in just a second, they do really well in coconut. They respond really, really well to it. I'm just trying to make sure that all of my angles are correct. Okay, before I finish this and show it off to you guys. Something to take into consideration with your Tamandama is whether or not you want this thing to be hanging or actually sitting down, like this guy's. So I want to make this hang because I've got some actually all of these are hanging plants for me. Even the little strawberry begonia, the fake strawberry begonia guy, he's a hanging plant for me as well. So I want them all to enjoy what they used to do, and that is hang. And yeah, if you see everything in a knot, it's because I have a 4-year-old and he gets into everything if I don't put it away. So yes, thank you, baby, for making my life a little bit more difficult with this fishing wire. Okay, we're gonna be fine. We got this. Oh my God, no, we don't got this. Okay, 8 hours later, as they say in SpongeBob. Here we go. This is our Tamandana, our epiphytic Tamandana at least. So I have these strawberry begonias that I have growing in a pot. I have these ferns that probably will like growing here. I have the Hoya as well as this orchid. And check these guys out. Now, let's go see if I can actually put a wire on it, make it hang, because that is the ultimate goal, right? Okay, so after you have your wire cut, what you're going to want to do is actually, I'm really sorry about this. Okay, wire. What you actually want to do is stick it through your Tamandama, and oh gosh, it's a lot easier said than done. And I'm not going to use all of it for the length. I'm actually going to use a little bit of it on the bottom as a little pedestal. And ta-da! We are done with our epiphytic Tamandama. Here we go. Let's make that little hook. And voila, there she is. I'll take pictures so I could show it off on Instagram too. But yay! So that is number 1, because I said that there were going to be 2, right? Yes, pretty. So happy with that. It's ridiculous. Okay, so the second one, oh no, hold on, I just dropped something. We are losing sunlight, and I would like to get this episode done because it's been 24 hours since the challenge, and I need to show Judd what I've done. So here we go. This is the second Tamandama that I'm doing. So Atelier Te actually mentioned accidental epiphytism. So epiphytes, meaning climbing on trees, and accident, come on, we know what that means, right? But what they explained on one of their Instagram posts is that in Mexico and in other, so Central America, and in other Southern America countries, there have been observations of arids growing on trees. Yeah. So we've got terrestrial plants becoming arboreal. I mean, they just grow on trees. And I mean, at first thought, you're going to be like, what is going on? But it actually makes a lot of sense. So these guys don't like to be watered a lot, right? So if you put them on something like a tree trunk or a tree crevice, they're not going to get a lot of water either. They're going to get just enough of what they need. And while I'm not going to be true to Atelier Te's Tamandama of accidental epiphytes, I will do my own version. And I'm going to go take it a step back, and I'm going to do it on wood. We're going to make an accidental arboreal epiphyte out of these guys. So the plants that I chose for this are this succulent. I don't know the name. I bought it a couple of days ago, but I was just enamored with the colors. It's the color of rainbow. And then we've got this little guy. I know we call them barbecue sticks here in the Philippines because they have that long stick in the middle, but it's variegated and pretty. And we also have these guys. Check this out. Moss! Because moss is just fun to play with. And I think that's it. I think that's all I have here. Is that all I have here? Yeah, that is it. So this is my second entry, Jed. Yes, I'm a little bit of an overachiever. So here we go. I chose this piece of driftwood because I've got this nice little hole, drainage hole at the bottom, but I don't want media leaving. So I cut out a couple of pieces of hard plastic that I use for making moss poles. See it right here? And I'm going to cut it smaller because it doesn't look like it's going to fit right. Oh yeah, the other plant that I actually planned on including in this is an actual epiphyte, and it is a tillandsia. Look at that gorgeous thing. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. Looks like coral. Just really, really pretty. So here we go. Putting my little plastic piece on the bottom to stop the cacti media. Yes, that is the hint here, is that I have cacti media from leaving its makeshift pot. And there we go. Good. So here, I don't know if you can see it, right there in the middle, we've got that little drainage system right there. And I'm going to use Plant Culture PH's cultured soil. It's just amazing stuff. Let me put a little bit of that down here at the bottom already. Hopefully they don't escape because I did make a drainage hole, but I think some of these might be too small and might be able to escape. Oh, there's another hole. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So where's my extra plastic? There we go. So I've got plastic covering both holes now. Hopefully we don't have anything escaping. So I've got a little bit of cultured soil right there at the bottom of that crevice. And it'll provide a little bit of the nourishment and sustenance that this guy needs. So this guy is going right here, and we're gonna clean him up right now. It is getting dark, but I'm gonna finish this, Jed. We're gonna do this. So what I notice about this plant is that it's in a lot of muddy type red soil. I know it's a highlands plant. I asked the sales lady if it would actually be okay in lowlands because I live in the lowlands, you know, the badlands where it's super hot. That's me. She says it'll be perfectly fine. Time will be the judge of that. But let me go ahead and try to minimize as much as I can of what we're putting in here. I have a suspicion that this thing is rooted in 2 places, and if it is, I'll be splitting it up. Yep, there it is. Woo! Ha ha! So I got you on one side, and I've got you on the other. And I think I'm gonna cut. As soon as I find my knife, I'm gonna cut. So with succulents, I don't normally plant them after cutting. I have a monkey tail cactus and a few other succulents. I'm not a big, huge succulent person per se, but I'm trying and I'm learning. And I know that we want it to cure before we put in any kind of media because rot! I don't have dethane on me because I would dethane this stuff immediately. But I don't want this to lose any roots, so give me a second. Be right back. Okay, we've got our little one with its gorgeous roots. And we're going to put it aside right here. It's still in the open, so that will be fine for the curing. I'll take a close-up for you so you see what I'm talking about. As soon as I tuck these roots in, yes, very good. Okay, woo! I'm quite thrilled by this. And with the air holes in the back and on the bottom, I think we're gonna be fine. I'm gonna go ahead and put some more cultured soil here to protect these roots. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so that's what we want. One plant down. And I've got another crevice right here that I'm thinking of using. And hopefully this stays, because I'm really relying on it to stay. I really need something at the back of this thing. Here we go. We'll use that for now. So, as I was saying earlier, the accidental epiphytes, quite interesting, quite amazing. I mean, who would have thought that cactus and the like can actually grow on trees? I wouldn't. So, yeah, just amazing. This, I have a feeling, will actually be an interesting experiment as well, because these are not actually cacti, these are succulents. And while they can be treated similarly, they are completely different. I mean, one, just by the name alone, right? Cacti and succulents. But what we're doing here is we're trying to see if we can replicate what happens to cacti with succulents. So let me put that in here in this little crevice right here. There we go. Put you there. And then let me check you right back here. Have you stand up. Yes! Okay. So we got that going on. And this guy is going to be something that sits completely on a table. This is not going to be hung anywhere. The driftwood is hard. It's not happening. So we've got that, and we've got these 2 succulents here. Really pretty, and I'm really happy with them. But we're still missing one more piece, and that's the moss. I'm taking some of that media earlier from the fern, and I'm going to go ahead and put it inside some of these areas, some of the crevices, in hopes that it actually helps that moss grow. Now, moss time. My husband bought all this moss because he wanted to create a terrarium with me. And we've been meaning to do that. It's just not something that we've gone to. Just because we're so busy all the time. I kid you not. I mean, seeing friends is so hard nowadays. It just really is. The mosses that stay together, stay moist together. Yay. Okay. So you guys are done. And I think I would like just a little bit more of that because they're really pretty to look at. I know what you're thinking. Moss and succulents. Goodness gracious, what are you doing? We'll see. I'll update you guys on this one. Because, I mean, it's an interesting experiment, especially with what Atelier Te says. But, you know, I live in the Philippines, not in Mexico or Southern America. So this may not be the best thing for these guys. We'll find out. And if it works, we're making more. There you go, gorgeous. Very happy with that. Very happy with you. Okay, see inside. Just a little bit more sticking out of the bottom. I think I'd like that. I know. How about one of you guys? No. I'm not really a fan of this pillow type of moss. Okay, I hear the dogs coming. That means that it's feeding time for these guys. They're going to be howling in no time. So best to finish up. Yay, almost there. Since we are climbing on trees with this one, why not put a epiphytic plant? And these guys actually grow on trees. I'm going to go ahead and see if I could attach this somehow, because it is gorgeous. Hello, there you are. And I'll find a more permanent way to attach this. The thing with tillandsias is that the root system is what attaches it to the tree. I mean, it barely takes up any nutrients from the root system. It takes up most of its nutrients through its leaves, the trichomes on its leaves. So yeah, that's going to be a tricky one with this. And here's our accidental epiphytism arrangement, because it's not a Tamandama. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me for today's episode. I really enjoyed it. And hi, Jed. I got 2 of them for you. What are we doing now, Jed? What's your next move? For more information on the Instagrammer that I featured here on this episode, check them out on YouTube. They have an account here. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'll put it right down here on the screen. And check them out on Instagram. They are on Instagram as atelier_te. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, feel free to give it a like. Share it with your friends. Leave comments down in the comment section down below. And I'd love to see what you guys think about what's going on here. If you guys miss me during the week, check me out on Facebook. I'm there as Tasteful Nodes. And if you just want to look at pretty pictures right before you head off to bed, check me out on Instagram. I'm there as Tasteful Nodes as well. Okay guys, until next time, sa uulitin, keep your nodes classy and tasteful. Bye.